Hello, all you wonderful people, and happy Father's Day. JC Bird, Carla Burton, Epic Jill, Mark Conway, and everyone else as you file into this wonderful live stream, June 20th, 2021 at 7:46 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to do a relatively short stream today because, well, I got to be honest with you. So since I started going back to the gym, I've been getting a little bit more into it. And today and yesterday, I have worked out like really, really intensely. And it's kicking my ass right now. So that's why the stream's going to be relatively short. I'm going to go to bed freakishly early to go bright and early and hit it hard again tomorrow. Mountain Woman, Lisa Gag, Lynn Rofo, Richard Rohrer, Alicia Del Coco, Cat Hoarder, how are you today? One of the things I'm going to jump right into right now is Special Ops Kim. Let's talk first about some back and forth about a certain guy named Ali Alexander. I'll explain as we go along. This is Home Sweet Home at socialquidvirum.com, responding to Dwayne Cates and MMA. John Sullivan is tight in social media to these two cretins. Ali Alexander, real name Ali Akbar with a rap sheet, and Enrique Tarrio, an FBI informant and founder of the Proud Boys. I don't know if you guys know this about Enrique Tarrio, but Milo Yiannopoulos did a video about him, and Enrique, in addition to being a scumbag FBI informant, also worked very, very hard to get his pregnant girlfriend to kill their baby. She did not kill their baby, but she did go public with his disgusting baby murdering tendencies. Both Ali Alexander and Enrique Tarrio have infiltrated and gotten very close to Sydney and to General Flynn. They need some vetting, just saying. These folks suck filth. And how the damn hell was this missed, as it is so out there? Anna's mom asks, what do you mean they got close to General Flynn and Sydney? That is not good. Dwayne Cates says, General Flynn has my complete confidence. People in his orbit right now have good reasons for being there, the good ones and the bad ones. Home Sweet Home says, maybe, Dwayne, but with platforms given, what if there should just be some deep questions? And Jay Garza adds, I think this is worth a look again, trying to understand this character. And then Ali Alexander managed to get on American Thought Leaders with Jan Yakilek. I think that's what it is. Dwayne says, my instinctive reaction to Ali is highly negative. Mine too, Dwayne. My initial intro to him was my brother Brian playing some video clip I happened to overhear at my workstation in the Cates Command Center. I immediately asked him, who the fuck was that? Flynn is in with Lynn Wood, Ali, and many others. For what reason? Not a clue. I trust Flynn implicitly, as I do Trump. Everyone else pays cash. Flynn is working, period. Brian jumps in, the Brian. I attended 2 walkaway events last year, one in October and one in November. Walkaway was started by Brandon Strock, whom I've met several times. Great guy. But when Ali Alexander hopped on board and essentially took over Walkaway, he made part of his Stop the Steal tour. And the first thing Ali did once he was in the driver's seat was bring in Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes. And now that we know what was going on with FBI informants and whatnot surrounding the January 6th fake insurrection, I have very strong suspicions Brandon Strock was entrapped. Walkaway has been dead ever since he was arrested for supposedly encouraging violence on January 6th. Mad Beach Bimbo comes in and says he didn't. They did. I've followed Ali since he was in Florida back during Obama. He's an educated grifter. He went to the dark side after the escalator, from what I could tell. Following him and reading him on Breitbart and others. Radioactive. And then MMA says, well, Brandon was kicking ass and taking names. He is very effective as a spokesperson, and the walkaway videos are powerful. They were being made by so many folks from the demographics that the Democrats counted on as easy, predictable voters. What they said was having impact because it was ordinary talk from ordinary folk. It resonated. And then Pam jumps in to say, I agree. I followed that group on Facebook. So many amazing stories of people waking up from the BS. And the people were so kind to each other and proud to be American. You're right. Everyday Americans united is an unstoppable force. That is indeed why Facebook closed down the group. Sad. Hashtag walk away. Donna KC responds, maybe Ali is a mercenary. He'll do jobs for whoever is willing to pay. I knew a guy like that once in South America. He was very dangerous. And that's the conversation about old Ali Alexander. Let me tell you something else, guys. There's a little guy named Owen Benjamin, who is a farmer in northern Idaho, a patriot, an anti-establishment Christian, just generally a hero of mine. And he was in with Alex Jones for a little while during his red pill journey, which kind of began at the same time it did for most of us. And one of the things he made sure to let us all know when he was on the inside with Alex Jones is that Alex Jones is an alcoholic. Alex Jones is a complete degenerate. Alex Jones is a faker. Alex Jones is a shill. He says true things all the time. He seems like he's on your side. He is not. He is a fucking fed. Do not trust Alex Jones. He is poison. The same goes for Ali Alexander. All right, let's say hi to the crowd who is filing in. Cheesy Moto, is that a bad thing? Hipster Cat, Joe Woodwell, Juliet Ochieng, how are you? Mark Conway, Rex Tullis, Mermaid Miss K, how are you? Walk away is how I found Q. That's a big deal. Good Lord. So I found Q before you did, Kristen S., although I wasn't really into it. Kitty Sokasi, how are you? Nice to see you, Rex Tullis. Haven't seen you in a while. Spirit Fox, Jay Stacks, Manfred Mann, Norma Wong, St. Richie. Holy crap. Issue 35 is in the inbox. Father's Day edition. St. Richie, Father's Day. Stephen Irassi, am I missing anybody? If I am, I apologize. Claude Bernardin, how are you? Timothy Foti, yes, it is the Big Bear. The Big Bear is a brilliant, brilliant man. The Big Bear and I do not agree on everything. I don't need to have to point that out. He is a man of good faith, a man of enormous integrity. All right, Alex Jones equals Mossad. I guess, maybe. Just scumbag who should not be trusted is all I can say for sure. All right. I love Alex Jones even though he was compromised. I wouldn't be who I am today without watching his 9/11 document Loose Change in the early 2000s. I get it, Rex Tullis, but he is a 100% scumbag who would sell you out for one night with a porn star. He is a total dirtball, but I get what you're saying. Okay, one Alchar, two, how are you? All right. Yes, Alex Jones is Bill Hicks, and he's just so much more than that. All right, a poem by Claude Bernardin. Ion by Claude Bernardin, 6/20/21. How do you hide a message in plain sight? A message from Q. Some people type way too fast. Some misspell words out their ass. Some are far clever, higher up in the brass. You must learn to see better, read between the lines, and then ask. Treason, sedition, insurrection, election. How many words end with I, Q, and N? Sorry. How many words end with I, O, and N? I need to clean off my screen. But let's take those three letters and abbreviate. Ions. I could stand on its own for insurrection. O for of, and maybe our love. For N, that stands for nation. So then we'd have insurrection of our nation. War is war, so let them think they won. But the best is coming, and you can bet on that, son. Thank you for that one, my friend. Sorry for screwing it up by replacing an O with a Q. I hate when that crap happens. Lovely work, my friend. Sending to Epic Jill. All right. As we get closer to 8 o'clock, we are getting ever closer to the Among My People audit update. Let's do another poem from Claude Bernard. Now, let's make sure that the screen's clean enough so I can tell which letters are which. A Cowboy, John Wayne, Claude Bernardin, June 20th, 2021. I was researching words for patriot on Google and Yahoo today, and I came upon chauvinist and bigot. A lover of our country, hip hip hooray. A drinker and a wife abuser, a traitor, spy, and a fool. The synonyms were ridiculously racist. Further on down the search came a few that almost hurt, too. So many more false negatives you might use, like white nationalist, supremacist, a cowboy John Wayne. But then I read enemy, detractor, and that hurt my brain. And I suddenly felt blasphemed and shamed. Ah, the cancel culture, up to its old silly-ass games. Fellow patriots, please, may I ask you, what at all have these negatives to do with our love of the red, white, and blue? Why is it love is now something deranged? Why is it honor, respect, and ideals are caught under the wheels of this train? You can cancel candy corn and Nico wafers. You can cancel screaming yellow zonkers or speed racer. But I prefer it to mean one who has passion for his country, so you be damned. Yes, I suppose I'm one who attaches cumbersome compounds like honor and homeland. See, I'm only a fascist philosopher, a disturber of government philosophies and policies when our government has turned into communists and freaking Nazis. There's no justice in the greatest of lands. All governors, mayors, judges were bought out hand to hand. But when they run rampant like red-eyed rats on the streets of Wuhan, maybe it's you who are the traitorous man, instead of God-fearing men who revere honor and justice and take a stand. So go ahead and call me derisive, a racist, a scoundrel, the resistance, while I watch a cad like James Comey live up to the words liar and phony. See, I'm not talking skirmishes at Lexington and Concord Bridge. I'm not talking watching clown shows from Congress on CNN. I'm merely now being patriotically patient, quietly waiting until this rod-surling nightmare comes to a glorious rods of God end. See, it's time to switch off Maddow and Colbert and even Tucker. So, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. And that's a great way to segue into the audit update. Thank you, Claude. That one was brilliant. Sending to Jill. Who's ready for an update, guys? We're not quite at 8. I don't want to do it early because that's not right. Because people want to hear the update. All right, good. Mountain Woman, good to see you. Mermaid Miss K, Guy Smith, how are you, sir? Everybody having a good Father's Day. It's really nice to have you here. So we're gonna do the update. We'll do St. Richie, and then we'll finish out with a few threads from Special Ops Kim, and then we'll call it a night. It'll be a hell of a time, my friends. Here we are, 8 p.m. Thanks to our very own Among My People, the Arizona Audit Update for Reading Epic Threads, June 20th, 2021. Hello, Patriots. Sidney Powell sent out Good News Friday, and it is signed by Sidney and Team Kraken. It starts with, quote, Dear Patriots, here's a bunch of good news and some funny news that occurred this week. Remember, there are more of us than there are of them. Keep praying and spreading the news. We have to keep the underground real news moving to everyone, end quote. It has many items of great interest to our community, but I will include just a taste. 1, even the oppressed in California are finally getting some normalcy back. Well, what do you know? Newsom announces California back in business by Sam Amico, June 15th. Outkick. Quote, You know COVID-19 fears are plummeting, even when California Governor Gavin Newsom is announcing a return to business as usual. But that is precisely what Newsom did on Tuesday. It's reopening day, Newsom tweeted. No more social distancing, no more capacity limits, no more colors or county tiers. And if you're vaccinated, no more masks. It's a good day. 2. One man with a lawsuit. Florida judges declare mask mandate unconstitutional. The Gateway Pundit on June 15, 2021, quote, "Are you shocked or surprised that this bit of news has received little coverage? Attorney Jeff Childers struck a blow for freedom in Alachua County, Florida. Alachua County is home to Gainesville, which is where the University of Florida is located. Childers represents Justin Green, owner of a plant nursery, who brought suit last March after Alachua County commissioners passed an order that required all employees and customers in Alachua to wear masks in businesses. Green lost his initial foray into court, but he appealed. Governmental mask mandates in the 32 counties in the 1st District of Florida must now be presumed to be unconstitutional after yesterday's ruling by the 1st District Court of Appeals on a lawsuit brought by business owner Justin Green against Alachua County. 3. A worthy issue to support and get involved in. Saving the next generation is vital to saving the country. Parents are rapidly organizing against public school indoctrination. Moms for Liberty is zeroing in on school boards. Georgia Howe, June 16, 2021. Daily Wire, quote, "If 2020 was an eye-opening year for millions of Americans, 2021 is the year they are taking action. One of the fastest growing and most robustly organized groups is Moms for Liberty, which is focused on creating a nationwide watchdog network to monitor school boards. Moms for Liberty, which also welcomes dads and other stakeholders, was chartered about 5 months ago in Florida and has since grown to 20,000 members, with 44 chapters in 19 states and hundreds of chapter applications currently in queue. Her news email ends with, 'Have a great weekend. We will be back next week with more information. Hold fast, Sydney and Team Kraken.'" Jack Phillips published an article on June 18, 2021, saying that Sidney Powell was summoned to Michigan court for sanctions hearing. Quote, "Attorney Sidney Powell and other lawyers who filed lawsuits to support former President Donald Trump's claims about the 2020 election were summoned by a judge to a sanctions hearing in Michigan. U.S. District Judge Linda Parker ordered Powell, who filed a series of third-party lawsuits in Michigan and other states, and the other lawyers to appear at a July 6th hearing, according to court documents filed on Thursday. Each attorney whose name appears on any of plaintiffs' pleadings or briefs shall be present at the motion hearing set for July 6th, 2021 at 2 p.m. Eastern Time in Detroit," the single-line order from Parker read. It concerned a lawsuit, King versus Whitmer, which was filed last year and alleged President Joe Biden's victory was the result of fraud and asked electors in Michigan to discard the certification of the state's results. The Epoch Times has contacted Powell for comment. She hasn't made any comments about the development on her Telegram page. Last year, Parker sided with Michigan state officials and wrote an opinion that the relief being sought in King versus Whitmer, referring to Governor Gretchen Whitmer, quote, "would disenfranchise the votes of the more than 5.5 million Michigan citizens." It's just brain dead, ridiculous things to say. The other lawyers who were summoned to appear in court are Greg Roll, Scott Hagerstrom, and Stephanie Juntila, I can't pronounce it, Juntila, as reported by the Detroit Free Press. Quote, "Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel, a Democrat, asked the court in January to sanction Powell and alleged she, Roll, Hagerstrom, and Juntila's pursued a frivolous lawsuit in violation of their oaths as attorneys. The city of Detroit in December 2020 also had asked the court to sanction Powell. In response to a separate defamation lawsuit, lawyers for Powell, a former federal prosecutor who successfully defended retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, argued that her remarks about the November 3rd election are protected under the Constitution. Powell's comments to media outlets about the election were of public concern and are therefore not defamatory, her lawyers said. The lawyers added, quote, "The comments involve the 2020 presidential election and specifically address the reliability of the voting machines and processes used to determine the results of that election. The complaint itself contains scores of references of tweets from President Donald Trump, statements by public officials, content of related litigation, and national press coverage of the issues." 2. Cassandra Fairbanks from Gateway Pundit published on June 19th, quote, "Former Arizona Secretary of State and current Senate liaison for the Maricopa County audit, Ken Bennett, has said that they need to investigate anomalies such as 52 ballots that came from a single 2-bedroom home. Bennett was giving an update on the next steps in the audit during an interview with John Fredericks on the Outside the Beltway podcast. Quote, "Additionally, Bennett stated that the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors is refusing to provide information related to the routers used and administrative passwords for the tabulation machines. Bennett explained that they are going through the envelopes to make sure that each one has a valid signature and that the person is a resident of Maricopa County. Ballots with unsigned envelopes are not permitted to be counted under the election laws." Fredericks asked, "So, if the signatures don't match or the signatures aren't there, what happens?" Bennett explained, "Well, then part of our report would say that Maricopa County opened X numbers of thousands of envelopes and counted the ballots inside those envelopes that never should have been opened." During the final minute of the interview, Bennett was asked to wrap up what people can expect to see from the audit in the next couple of weeks. "There is still checking of voter registration anomalies," he explained, before citing 52 people voting from a 2-bedroom home somewhere, or people voting twice, or dead people voting. "There's going to be a few to several weeks of that type of investigation, and then there will probably be a few to several weeks of putting the whole report together," he added. "The report is going to be massive." 3. On Friday, Steve Bannon asked Boris Epshteyn, "Are they issuing subpoenas in Pennsylvania?" Boris Epshteyn says he believes that as he speaks in the next 48 business hours, subpoenas are being prepared in Pennsylvania and maybe will be dropping as soon as next week for a full Arizona-level audit in several counties in Pennsylvania. Boris has also said that it is vital to let Robin Vos, the Speaker of the House in Wisconsin, and Chris Kapenga, the President of the Senate in Wisconsin, hear patriots asking for full forensic audit in all counties in Wisconsin. These subpoenas are needed and necessary in Wisconsin to get to the bottom of November 3rd. 4. Georgia's Dominion voting system implementation manager Gabe Sterling negotiated a salary increase for himself last year. Gabriel Sterling, Georgia's Dominion voting system implementation manager, appeared on several liberal news channels this past year following Georgia's controversial presidential election. Sterling was the state's voting system implementation manager. Georgia officials negotiated a $107 million deal with Dominion earlier in the year for their voting machines. Democrat operatives removed media and GOP observers from the counting room in Atlanta, Georgia on election night and then proceeded to count thousands of unsecured ballots late in the night on election day, including stacks of ballots that were counted 2 or 3 times by multiple operatives. Gabriel Sterling defended this practice on national TV. Many interested patriots were wondering where he came from. Apparently, Gabriel Sterling negotiated a $200,000 per year contract for himself last year. Sterling then quit his state government job and worked as an independent contractor ever since. AJC reported on December 29, 2020, The man who oversees Georgia's voting system, Gabriel Sterling, negotiated a $200,000 per year contract for himself last year, quit his state government job, and has worked as an independent contractor ever since. Under the arrangement, Sterling's pay increased from his $114,000 government salary in November 2019, when he took on the role of project manager for the purchase and rollout of the state's new voting equipment. State election officials say that as a contractor, the government didn't have to pay benefits such as health insurance. Though he's a contractor, Sterling has become the face of Georgia elections, leading press conferences, debunking election conspiracy theories, and calling out President Donald Trump for inciting threats against election workers, proclaiming, "This has to stop." But there is much more to the story. Sterling's contract, obtained by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution through the Georgia Open Records Act, expires Thursday after the state's voting equipment has been used in several elections this year. Sterling will then return to the Secretary of State's office, resuming his previous role as Chief Operating Officer. The Secretary of State's office awarded the contract to Sterling under an emergency procurement without a competitive bidding process, said Deputy Secretary of State Jordan Fuchs. The government needed someone to manage the quick installation of voting equipment in time for this year's elections, adding a paper ballot to Georgia elections for the first time in 18 years, she said. 2020 was a very profitable year for Gabe Sterling. Investigators will need to look at Gabe's unusual situation. I bought my wife a sterling silver necklace. 5. Secretary of State of Colorado, Jenna Griswold, tweeted, I think it was yesterday, June 17th, so a few days ago, June 17th, "My office just issued rules prohibiting sham election audits in the state of Colorado. We will not risk the state's election security nor perpetuate the big lie. Fraudits have no place in Colorado." Hey, Secretary of State Jenna Griswold, the Constitution gives you how much authority? Hang on, let me just check. Precisely, dick. Wendy Rogers responded with a comment. "Sounds guilty." Cat Turd commented, "This is what panic looks like." Someone else said, "She is announcing herself as a linchpin of the conspiracy to overthrow the government when she is establishing rules against the fraud. She is kind of see-through right now." 6. Ivan Raiklin posted, "Representative John Katko, Republican, New York, is the only Republican who voted to impeach Trump who does not yet have an announced primary challenger." Then Raiklin said, "Necessary 2022 alert. Whom do you know thinking about running against this scumbag? Please connect me. We need to get the ball rolling." And I will end with a tweet from Donald Trump Jr. "Happy Father's Day. To all the good dads out there, you're amazing. Keep it up and have an awesome day with your families. And if you haven't seen Il Donaldo Trumpo's tweet for Father's Day, you ought to. Here is the link. Watch alone, not as a group." Okay, I guess I can't show this. I'm instructed not to show this. All right, okie dokie, Patriots. Hope you enjoyed. And thank you so much, Patriot. Patrick, I appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate what you do among my people. Super duper amazing, awesome correspondent for reading epic threads. All right, let's say hi to the chat real quick. Hi, all y'all. Connolly Brown, haven't seen you in a while. St. Richie, oh man, yeah. It's going to be fun to watch Gabe fall. It's really disgusting that we have to sit through these criminals strutting around. I know that it's just designed to wake up the people, and that they probably know they're way more fucked than we know that they know they're fucked, if that makes any sense at all. They're much more worried than they're letting on, is what I mean. But I don't see any penalty other than the very fullest extent of the law. In my opinion, these are capital crimes that these people have committed. All right. Hello, Teresa in Houston. Been a while. Happy Father's Day. So now that we are here, what do you say we go ahead and do St. Richie issue 35, Father's Day edition? Bear with me one moment. All right. St. Richie Issue 35, Sentiment Analysis. Patrick emailed me and asked me if I would provide a quick bio of my background, which, by the way, kind of makes me a little ill because the very idea of a bio is way too much self-focus, little quirk of mine. Anyway, I did write it, but in doing so, one of the things I listed was AI, artificial intelligence, which gave me the burn again to start delving into it. One of the foundational case studies that one goes through when learning about AI is a process called sentiment analysis. It is basically the position of society and where they sit in relation to critical factors. Critical factors are key circumstances or events that are the difference between success or failure, for example, in a counterinsurgency. When you look at a sentiment analysis, you can get a real hard take on where the public is emotionally, and it shows up in so many places that you don't even realize. Sentiment analysis tools do things like digging into blogs, and there are some extraordinary AI machine learning tools for performing this analysis. For the dark forces that seek communism, they are also seeking this idea of singularity, but the main control is to influence the public with all their machines and tools. AI is part of that structure that predicts where they go next. But what has happened since 2016 is the awakening has occurred, and people have been breaking away from the accepted train of thought, and they have been questioning and using reason. As a result, there has been noticeable problems in how the AIs have been functioning. So the sentiment analysis initially had been mapping out a pretty predictive outcome for the left. But I have little doubt right now that the good guys have taken control, and it's very evident, and there are many indicators across the board. We are seeing people leaving the market that should not be. We are seeing figureheads that aren't there right now. All you must do is go through a list of Hollywood elites and key politicians, and they are simply not in the public eye. And for people that argue that is not a reasonable indicator, then you must ask yourself, what would prompt somebody not to promote the policies of Joe Biden when, in fact, they now technically control the entire government? The fact is, nothing would keep them from speaking. We should be hearing from the Obamas. We should be hearing from the Clintons, Comey, Clapper, Brennan, etc. And on the Hollywood side, the A-listers are nowhere to be found. Meryl Streep, Tom Hanks, Madonna, Ashley Judd, and the list goes on. They are just not out in front. And the sentiment analysis data tells us that something significant is happening because these people cannot survive unless their egos are fed. I mean, where are all the new movies? Most of Paramount has been shut down and has been for months. Disney Studios is in chaos. The whole industry is falling apart, and it's happening quietly behind the scenes, and we're noticing it in different ways because you're not seeing the big figures and the promotions of film. Of course, they are using the COVID excuse, but we all know that this hogwash, and everyone knows that theater debuts are a huge part of the whole process, and we're simply not seeing them. The left influence network is eroding. And yes, while they are still censoring left and right, you can still see the erosion. For example, when they run the San Francisco Gay Men's Club Vaccinate video on the club's actual YouTube channel, these are the comments they get. Tarp Endive says, the pharma cult has really destroyed these people's brains. PLPB and stuff says, we're living in historical times. The worst club in the history of history, singing the worst song in the history of history. It's a relief they've been vaxxed. X with 3 X's. Rosie V, this song is the final straw in my decision not to vaccinate myself. Bran says, Laugh emoji, laugh emoji, laugh emoji, laugh emoji, laugh emoji. What a joke! Lambs running to their own slaughter. TT says, if this is any indicator of a post-vaccine quality of life, I am definitely not getting it. Of course, Father's Day is the very antithesis of everything they stand for, so today is probably especially problematic for their narrative. At any rate, here is some sentiment analysis for you. This mug and a hot cup of cafefe. Happy Father's Day. You are a great dad. A great dad. Very special, very handsome, really terrific. Everyone agrees. Believe me. I don't have a Trump, so just bite me. All right. Anyway. And that's St. Richie. Thank you so much, St. Richie, for your brilliant work, sir. And on a personal note, I would like to thank my own father, who is no longer with us, for getting me at an incredibly young age to start seeing through all the bullshit. He's the one who told me, don't believe the official government story. He's the one who told me, yeah, this whole AIDS virus thing looks completely like a hoax. He's the one who told me, don't believe that JFK assassination horse shit. It's just that nonsense. It is because of my dad that I am the man I am today. So thank you, Dad. All right. A piece by Juliet Ochieng from February 20th, 2018. That time when the scales fell away from my eyes. I like listening to accounts of miracles, stories of what the living God has done for people. I don't call them testimonies because in the Bible, only God has testimonies. But in the accepted vernacular, that's what they are. I have many of them, but one stands out. Occasionally, I have dropped information about things he's done in my life, but in that area, I haven't talked of how God has pursued me. Allow me to meander to the point. When one enters the military at the beginning of basic training, the recruit is asked whether he or she wants a religion to be engraved on his or her dog tags. I was 19 when I joined the U.S. Air Force in 1981, and reflexively, I had Christian engraved on mine. Not long afterward, I looked at the tags. It seemed silly. At best, I acknowledged God's existence, and that was all. I spent my young adult years ignoring him, which seemed only fair. He had been ignoring me since I was born, or so I thought at the time. Neither of my two sets of parents were Christians when I was growing up. They are now. A lot of people remember the exact date that they became Christians. I don't, not even the year. However, I'd read parts of the Bible and never dabbled in atheism. Then, 1995-ish, I read the Bible cover to cover for the first time and decided that I believed what it said and that Jesus the Christ was my Lord and Savior. But as I look back at that point, it was the end of one journey and the beginning of another. My conversion happened when I was in my mid-30s. There was no big incident that precipitated it, nor was there any miracle that followed it, at least not one that I could discern. I didn't radically change my behavior. I didn't become a super Christian or start trying to convert everyone in sight. But if anyone asked what I believed, I told them. I used to watch Christian TV programming and hear people get up and tell about these huge, awesome miracles that God did for them. But even after I became a Christian, I was skeptical because God never did anything like that for me. For many years following my conversion, I thought like this. I don't anymore because, well, you'll see. I've told of my unusual origin and upbringing before, but I will again with some additional information. I'm the child of a Kenyan father and an American mother. I was born in Chicago and raised in Los Angeles. My parents divorced when I was a baby, and my father returned to his home country. My great aunt and great uncle, Alma and John Simpkins, raised me from the ages 1 to 9 in Los Angeles. When I was 9, I went to live with Mom and her new husband, also known as my American dad when I'm talking about these matters. He's just Dad, actually. Love you, old man. What I haven't mentioned is that Dad is Mom's third husband. Mom was married to my biological father for about a year, and she and Dad have been married for close to 50 years. But In the interim, she was married to an Ethiopian immigrant named Tamaru Fayesa, at the time a grad student. Relax, there are no ugly stories I have about Tam, at least nothing I experienced personally. The acknowledgement of his existence, however, is essential to the telling of this story. When Mom was married to Tam, I remained in the custody of Aunt Alma and Uncle John and would visit Mom and Tam on the weekends. One weekend, not long after Mom had picked me up and brought me to their home, she received a phone call from her employer, Southern California Pacific Bell, the old local incarnation of AT&T. She was a telephone operator, one of the very few black ones at the time. If you ever hear Mom speak, you'll know why. Perfect diction. My sisters and I admit to mimicking it when we want to impress. Pat Bell had an emergency and needed her to come to work, and that's what she did. Tam and I remained. Tam was never mean or anything like that. He simply tolerated me as if I were a visiting guest, one who would be gone soon. I sensed it back then, though I could put it into words only later. Long after they divorced, Mom told me that he urged her to allow Auntie and Uncle to legally adopt me, something she never did. After Mom left for work, Tam looked at me. "I'm going out," he said. "Stay here and don't open the door." And he was gone. I don't remember if he locked the door with a key or did so from the inside, but it was one or the other. I was 3 or 4 years old, but no more than that. I've mentioned before that, as a child, I had a terrible fear of never seeing my various parental entities ever again, and my upbringing makes plain why this is so. I could do a whole gazillion posts on how this fear has wreaked havoc on my adult love life. When Tam walked out, that fear kicked into overdrive. I remember feeling lost, alone, and afraid, as if I were the only person left on Earth. I looked around the ground floor bungalow apartment. In it, there was nothing of me. I don't recall toys or a bedroom. It was so different from home, the warm, happy place where my aunt and uncle spoiled their only child. Nothing to do but wait. Then, for some reason, I decided to look out the front window. It had horizontal Venetian blinds, and they were closed. Instead of opening them, I lifted one of the slats and took a peek. Directly in front, there were 2 small plots of grass, separated by a concrete pathway leading to the front door, and behind that, a parking lot, all of which were in clear view. And when I looked out, I saw my Uncle John closing the door of his truck and walking along the pathway towards the apartment. Uncle John worked for the city of LA and therefore routinely worked on Saturdays. This particular Saturday was no different, but for some reason, he decided to drop by Mom and Tam's place. I never found out why he did it. Tam's warning about opening the door was immediately null and void. I opened it, ran down the few steps, ran up to Uncle, and jumped into his arms. "I want to go home," I said. That's where he took me. This story's purpose isn't merely to make you say wow or to induce tears, in spite of the fact that I always leak a little when I tell it. It isn't told to make you mad at anyone or admire anyone. I tell it for one specific reason. Up until a few years ago, I had totally forgotten about it. And do you know who reminded me of the story? Do you know who reminded me that God has been doing me solids even when I was too young to see it, and even after I got older and was too blinded by fear to see it, even after I became a Christian? My beautiful and wonderful mom, that's who. Decades after Tam was out of our lives, and years after Aunt Alma and Uncle John had gone home to their rewards, Mom reminded me of how much God loves me and has always been looking out for me. She did this even at the expense of her own image in my eyes. When she reminded me, the memory came back like a flood. And so did memories of the many, many other names that God intervened, many other times that God intervened in my life. I'm sure there are more I have yet to remember. And now that my eyes are opened, I see his miracles all the time, almost daily. Some of them are pretty overt, right, Joy McCann? I have never been in the vicinity of Miss Goody Two-Shoes. I have always been a selfish person, particularly before converting to Christ. Recently, after finding out about the death of someone I loved deeply and who I hurt just as deeply, I was reminded of this. God has, of course, always known who and what I am. He kept after me anyway, and he began before I was even old enough to pay attention. He kept drawing me to him. I don't know why, but I am so grateful. Now I am ready to do my meager part in closing the distance. I am the door, says Jesus the Christ. John chapter 10, verse 9. And that's the beautiful piece from Juliet. And that is from the Baldylocks blog. The date, February 20th, 2018. Whew. Very, very moving stuff, Juliet, for real. So how's everybody doing? Everybody having a pretty good Father's Day? I think we're about to get to some Special Ops Kim stuff. Okay, all right, we got it. We got to talk about this. Fauci knew HCQ worked and that patients on ventilators faced significant risks from being intubated. What did they do? They banned HCQ and reimbursed hospitals $35K to $50K for each patient intubated. Why? And we all know why. More panic equals more happy for the bad guys. Fear is the virus. COVID is fake. All right. What do you say? We move on to a little bit of our very own Special Ops Kim. Oh, my girl. On June 12th, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, call me, rocked out maskless at an indoor concert fundraiser for Maya Wiley. On June 14th, she told the House clerk she was, quote, unable to physically attend proceedings in the House chamber due to the ongoing public health emergency. That's my girl. What a difference 48 hours can make. What would Abuela think, Alex? Everybody needs to stop messing with my girl. All right. Ooh, oh my God, look at her. She's so funny. All right, let's see what she says in this letter. Alexandria. Dear Ms. Johnson, pursuant to House Resolution 8, I write to notify you of the designation of a new proxy to cast my vote. I continue to be unable to physically attend proceedings in the House chamber due to the ongoing public health emergency and thereby grant the authority to cast my vote by proxy to the Honorable Jamal Bowman, New York, who has agreed to serve as my proxy. I understand this revokes the prior grant of my proxy to the Honorable Cori Bush, Missouri, previously authorized on May 17, 2021. Sincerely, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, member of Congress. She is the future First Lady of Reading Epic Threads. Special Ops Kim, COVID things. From Tear Gas Breakfast, socialquadvirum.com. Asked if he would press Xi, as in Xi Jinping, personally, to open up to virus origin investigators, Biden deflects. Quote, President Biden was asked Wednesday whether, given how much time he says he has spent in the past with Chinese President Xi Jinping, he would consider calling him up, old friend to old friend, and urge him to cooperate in the coronavirus origin investigation. Fauci lied. People died. Fauci. Distortion to say that we deliberately suppressed COVID lab leak theory. Fauci added, in addition to there being a lab in Wuhan, there are these wet markets where you have the human-animal interface that is a perfect setup for the animal-to-human jump. You keep open the possibilities and you can have a strong opinion of one without closing your mind. That's what I and many of the scientists have done. You're not a scientist, Fauci. You're just a pedophile. Risk of being bitten by bats still exists. Wuhan lab erased reports of bats biting researchers. Quote, while interacting with wild bats for SARS research likely funded by U.S. taxpayers, a Wuhan Institute of Virology scientist revealed he was bitten by a bat in a now deleted article from December 14, 2017. Yan Fan Yibi, a member of the research team, drew the length of a bat's teeth. Not long ago, his index finger was bitten by a bat. France to end nighttime curfew eases mask rules. France on Wednesday eased several COVID-19 restrictions, with authorities saying it's no longer always mandatory to wear masks outdoors and halting an 8-month nightly coronavirus curfew this weekend. The announcements by French Prime Minister Jean Castex, I don't know how to pronounce that French name, Castex. Castex? What? Not a French word. Comes as France is registering about 3,900 new virus cases a day, down from 35,000 a day in the March-April peak. Just to let y'all know, these are just positive PCR tests, and all they have to do is alter the cycle threshold, and you can get as many positive results as you want. It's a fucking hoax. Rick Grinnell says Six Flags tickets. Rick Grinnell's that guy who likes to white knight for traitors. All right. Six Flags tickets. California Governor Gavin Newsom announces more incentive programs to help reach 70% total vaccination figure. Woo-hoo-hoo. Top virologists admit lying to American public for months on likely Wuhan lab leak theory because they didn't want to be associated with President Trump. Ho, ho, ho. This is psychotic. COVID infrastructure. Chicago mayor declares racism a public health crisis. Chicago will allocate nearly $10 million in COVID funds to help improve community living. Poll finds 90% of fully vaccinated Americans are still wearing masks. What do we do with this walking, talking dross? Okay, sorry. That's fucking disturbing. Maybe they're just wearing masks because they're fucking ugly. I don't know. All right. Let's keep going. A thread, thanks to Special Ops Kim, by Alan West. Happy Juneteenth, folks. It's the day when blacks in Texas learned they were free. June 19th, 1865 in Galveston. But what does today mean? Or in this case, yesterday. So, sorry. Okay. It's the day when blacks found out that the first Republican president had signed the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing them from the physical bondage of the Democrat Party. It was 2 years later, on July 4th, 1867, that 150 of those same black men met in Houston and established the Republican Party of Texas. The Democrats, in response, established the Ku Klux Klan. Today, the Democrats are economically enslaving blacks and have turned inner city communities into modern plantations of welfare and economic dependence. Juneteenth is a celebration of why the Republican Party was established in 1854, the abolition of slavery. Only a flaming, incompetent idiot would give the party of the jackass any credit for Juneteenth. Can't argue with that. I've gone back and forth, and I would like input from whatever blacks may be in the audience. So far as I know, it's just JB and Juliet. But from a rhetorical perspective, how effective is it rhetorically to point out that Ku Klux Klan and slavery were both pretty much Democrat things? I don't know how effective that is. If you think it's effective, great, let's keep doing it. If not, maybe a shift of strategy. I don't know. But since it was so long ago, is it really even effective to? It just seems to me that the old classroom narrative of, hey, they flipped with the Southern strategy and shit, it seems like that worked on the masses. So anyway, thoughts are welcome. pgunnels@gmail.com. And sorry, not just for blacks, anybody, but the idea being, as a way to persuade black people, what do you think? Is that useful or is it not? All right, next, Pride Parade accident thread. Boat Girl from socialquidvirum.com. Hat tip, Special Ops Kim. Grab your popcorn. Leftists' narrative imploded in one day. So, in Fort Lauderdale last night, there was a car accident at a gay pride parade. All right, there was a car accident at a gay pride parade. In a shocking twist, the media was very careful to not speculate, and when others did, they quickly repeated that no facts were known. What did the left do? One, they claimed it was an assassination of a member of Congress, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Two, then claimed it was a terrorist attack against the gay community and a targeted assassination attempt. All in one video. Here is the video. This bonehead is the mayor of Fort Lauderdale, Dean Trantalis. I don't know what he said. So it gets better. The lefties now blame Ron DeSantis for allowing Florida drivers to run over street protesters. Yes, if you protest in the streets, Floridians are legally allowed to run your dumbass over. That is so freaking awesome. Everyone got excited when they saw the driver is a white guy. However, the driver is gay. Our thoughts and prayers are with those affected by the tragic accident that occurred when the Stonewall Pride Parade was just getting started. Our fellow chorus members were those injured, and the driver was also a part of the chorus family. To my knowledge, this was not an attack on the LGBTQ community. We anticipate more details to follow and ask for the community love and support. Justin Knight, president of the Fort Lauderdale Gay Men's Chorus. Once it was discovered this was a freaking car accident and the white driver is gay, everyone started deleting their tweets. Too late. Brooklyn Dad, defiant, blue checkmark at Pedelian. Reminder, Governor Ron DeSantis made it legal for psychopaths to drive their vehicles into crowds of people like the one who tried to murder Debbie Wasserman Schultz. DeSantis should be sued by all of the victims of that heinous accident. Update. I deleted my tweet in which I incorrectly concluded that I hate these people. Sorry, God. All right. FYI. They are saying that Debbie Wasserman Schultz's car was nearly hit by inches. It doesn't say anything about her being in the car when the incident occurs. The left never misses an opportunity, and the cameras are rolling. She is seen here sitting in her car as they take away the driver in handcuffs on the other side of the street from where her car is, because there is also a median. You can also see the white, bald-headed guy being taken away. OMG goody goodness, they must have been drooling over when the hint that she could be a white supremacist. Nope, gay dude that was part of the event. Special shout out to the reporters in Lauderdale who didn't let the left control the narrative. They really did a good job covering the accident. Reporters' Twitter accounts, Parker Branton and Leanne WPLG. All right, very nice. Hey, real quick though, guys, somebody missing something. Are there no gay white supremacists? I'm just saying. I mean, you could be a gay bigot. That's totally a thing, right? I'm just saying, just because a white dude likes other dudes, and probably other white dudes if he's a white supremacist, what? Look, I really think that this is just assuming people's non-bigotry. It's presumptuous as far as you're concerned. Fallen Prince says, I sound like Cartman. Awesome, dude. Guys, the Fallen Prince, a.k.a. Mendel, is a really, really good impressionist. Like, way better than me. All right. Let's see what else we got. We got up in this bitch. Mohammed Mike. All right. Let's see what we got here from Mohammed Mike. Hi, Patrick. I'm sure there is a rational, non-time travel, non-interstellar, non-timeline jumping explanation for this attached photo. It would appear that I'm going to end up having to show this to y'all. All right. If you haven't been able to open the file I sent last night, let me know and I'll try to reformat. Guys, I haven't shilled for shekels one time during this whole damn video. Guys, you do know that the best lotion in the world is made right here in Texas by Texans for patriots. Go to angelpaste.com. Use promo code Shapiro, and you will find the best lotion the world has ever made. I use it on my face in the morning. I use it on my face at night. I use it on my arms, and it always exfoliates, and it always leaves me looking better and feeling better. And the scents, my God, there is nothing better in the world. All you got to do is smell the stuff, and you get an immediate mood boost. Angelpaste.com, promo code Shapiro. It's got what skin craves. I guess I was kind of in a rush because it's Father's Day and I wanted to get to the end, but sorry about that. Got it? Guys, you got to get your Angel Paste, and you know it. All right. I wanted to mention to you that I know my writing is not the best. I am aware my thoughts are more free-form than rigid. All right, let's see here. I'm just trying to get to the things. All right. Hang on, I'm trying to get to the point here. What is this photo? Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I want to show you this. Guys, does Andrew Jackson look just like freaking Jeffrey Epstein, or am I on crack? Hang on, I'm going to download this and show it to everybody. I just want everybody to take a quick look at this. I'll put this in memes. We'll call it Epstein Jackson. Mohammed Mike, you make a fairly good point here, so we're going to go ahead and make sure that. I don't know if I'm doing this the right way, but we're going to give it a shot. Bear with me, my friends. It's in a separate window. Hold for processing. What's going on, dudes? I mean, I know. Because just, can we just like stop the simulation at this point? All right, just leaving that out there. Thank you, Mohammed Mike, as always. I appreciate your input. That was definitely chilling. All right. Let's do Special Ops Kim, one toot. Florida man treasure. A while back, a few people who were skeptics about the fact that there was a massive election fraud, they challenged me, saying that how come there was only irregularity in states that Trump lost? They thought that they got me by saying this. I finally thought of a good response. Let's say there are 50 banks in town. I rob 7 of them. Then I point at the other 43 and say, look, these banks didn't get robbed, so that means none of them got robbed. That's how dumb that line of logic is. Yes, that is incredibly dumb. All right, Special Ops Kim. Democrats are weird and insane. Singer Macy Gray redesigns the American flag with 52 colored stars that represent the melanin scale. CDC senior scientist. We trashed data showing vaccine autism link in African American boys. Thank you for reminding folks that vaccine safety research fraud. Okay, hang on. Sorry. The fact that lib blue checks are claiming Tucker Carlson is wrong about there being a bunch of FBI operatives among the insurrectionists means there's a 100% chance that there were a bunch of FBI operatives among the insurrectionists. From journalist Kate. Dear men, stop working out. Physical fitness in men creates a cycle of toxic masculinity that must be eradicated if we are to progress as a society. Don't know what to tell you. Dear men, stop working out. All right. I poke badgers with spoons, tweets. I've told my employer I'm not refusing it. I'm deferring until the clinical trials are over in 2 years and the safety data is analyzed and available so I can exercise informed consent. Work are kind of stuck as I'm not refusing. New York Post tweets. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms blames crime increase on GOP's reopening plan / easy access to guns. Real ballsy, Keisha Lance Bottoms. Natalie Winters tweets. Revealed. Google-funded Wuhan Institute of Virology's top research partner, Peter Daszak, for over a decade. Could this explain why big tech silenced debate on the origins of COVID-19? Just might. More news. Alphonse Lopez Tena. QAnon supporters have acted with dismay and confusion after Trump announced the dates of his upcoming fees-raising speaking tour with Bill O'Reilly, which coincides with when he is meant to have already been reinstated as president. Ooh. Cat turd from the Boston Herald. Nearly 4,000 fully vaccinated people in Massachusetts have tested positive for coronavirus. If you get a vaccine, it's because you're stupid. I don't know what else to tell you. You're just dumb. All right, next. Department of Veterans Affairs to pay for surgeries of transgender veterans. How nice. Mad Beach Bimbo tweets, what's up with the energy situation in Texas? Homeowners had their thermostats raised remotely by signing up to win free electric for a year. To enter, they had to opt in to the thermostat program. Average Joe tweets at Social Quid Virum, 2 days ago, the St. Louis attorney McCloskey had his guns confiscated and destroyed as punishment for defending his home. I said he could buy more guns. He didn't waste time. And they went and bought the guns. Excuse me, they went and came and took his guns? I mean, these are just criminals running St. Louis. From the Babylon Bee, Biden gets no pudding cup today as punishment for taking a question. Susan the Cracked Egglet and I know that they were really talking about green jello. Green jello. And finally, a statement from Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America. Happy Father's Day to all, including the radical left, rhinos, and other losers of the world. Hopefully, eventually, everyone will come together. Other losers of the world. A short video celebration of dads from Il Donaldo Trumpo. All right, I don't know if I can show this, guys. Let's see what this is. This is Happy Father's Day from Il Donaldo Trumpo. I'm not going to show any YouTube videos on my channel. And we all know it's because the evil psychopaths at YouTube are just going to cancel my channel for no reason. So screw that. All right. Hey guys, there are some angel paste converts here in California. Guys, I got to tell you, having options when it comes to scents is just a huge improvement in my life. Now I'm a big vanilla rose partisan, if you will. I would go even further. I am a vanilla rose bigot. So the best part is the way it smells and the way it feels. And when I rub it on my skin, dead skin comes right off. No abrasive exfoliation required. This is the kind of stuff you can use to treat eczema. You can use it to treat scars. There is nothing better than it. If you use lotion and it's not this, then quite frankly, you're using the lotion equivalent of a Moderna vaccine, as opposed to the lotion equivalent of friggin' fresh produce off of a neighborhood farm. It's that distinct of a difference. Angelpaste.com, promo code Shapiro, because if you're going to shill for money, use promo code Shapiro. That's how I feel. All right, we have more peeps. Bachabazi Boy Scout. Andre Jackson didn't kill himself. Interesting name, Bachabazi Boy Scout. All right, how's everybody doing? So, I use loofah and a lava bar. Let me tell you something, Cheesy Moto. You need to use loofah, lava bar, and angel paste. Fair enough, though. I need a freaking lava bar. It places the lotion in the basket. It's true. All right, guys. I think it's time to call it a night. I'm going to get to sleep super, super early. Ooh, please read the egglet. Is there a new egglet piece? There's new egglet. Well, I didn't know there was a new egglet. It just got here. Okay, hang on. We're gonna finish out with Susan, the Cracked Egglet. The Gitmo uptick. Hey, Patrick. I haven't had time to write, but let me tell you in the group, that it would appear the uptick in Gitmo activity is related to white hats and Trump. I don't have exact details. It's through the monkey, but he will be going over it this week. On another note, Biden was caught stealing extra green Jell-O from the White House kitchen and putting it in his pants. I will have info this week, I hope. MAGA forever. Susan, the cracked egglet. And that is a great place for us to stop, my dear friends. To support this channel and its trips, I will be going to Oklahoma next Saturday, 7 days from now, to join Jason Lawmeyer and General Michael Flynn in our effort to remove the rhino scumbag James Lankford from the United States Senate. I will be sitting right up front. I will be in a position to get General Flynn a Q coin. Don't forget JamesMG at Verizon.net, JamesMG at Verizon.net. I'm going to get one of these in General Flynn's hands if it kills me. And then angelpaste.com, promo code Shapiro, cooperandfrench.com, promo code Shapiro. I shave with it as often as I remember to shave. It's awesome. It's the best. All right. I've been all over the place today, guys. I got to just, in my defense, I am like on fire from going back to the gym. I've been hitting it really hard and everything hurts right now. But that will all pass as I get back into the swing of things. So in the meantime, don't forget paypal.me/Bitcoin Armada if you'd like to support my trips to all over the nation, which are coming up. And boy, this is going to be a wild ride, my friends. It's getting good. Let us pray. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray, and do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all evil spirits who prowl about the world seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. I love you all. I will see you tomorrow.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created. Look, I'm really rich. I will build a great wall on our southern border, and I will have Mexico pay